We've been living in a fairy tale world that tells us if we work hard enough, we can get exactly what we want. And we've passed down the wise, sagacious understanding of getting exactly what we need. And then the scripture tells us to delight in the Lord and He will grant us the desires of our hearts. So we run with that, with understanding what it means to delight in the Lord, and what happens to my desires that may be ill when we do such a thing. I'm here to point out the fact that we have been having these lofty expectations for men, lofty expectations for women, that we ourselves cannot even meet. If we could just be real, do I have a witness in here? That some of the things that we want others to possess are the very things that we find ourselves struggling to obtain within ourselves. And with this acquisition of knowledge, we still dig, and we still pry, and we still push in hopes that we would find that which we've already conjured up, concocted in our mind as the perfect specimen for our lives. Well, let me tell you something. We all experience seasons in which we will not be happy. The gaieties of life seems to not necessarily dwindle away, but for some reason it's taken a break and it's blown past us. Listen, there's no church, there's no pastor, preacher, there's no spouse, there's no profession, no vocation, there's no entity that would help you or cause you to be exempt from the normalcies of life. You have to go through low times. You will have to go through times. Let me expose something. And some of you married folks will not acquiesce because this is in-house. And we've heard many counselors say what happens in the bedroom stays in the bedroom, what happens in your house or your family stays in there because it protects you from destruction, all that good stuff, which has a lot of sense to it. But if you would just be honest, if you would just be real with me and take a trek down the lane of realism, not optimism, not pessimism, but realism, you would agree with me when you say that there's sometimes in your marriage, if you've been married long enough, when you feel like the love is not quite there. When you feel like you're married but you're alone. When you feel like even that significant other seems insignificant based on the situation that you're going through. Listen to me, beloved. That's life. That's life. Life is not based only on feelings. If that was the case, God would have made us that way. We cannot go through life basing our decisions and moves, our decisions on feelings. Feelings of erotica, feelings that dissipate, feelings that do not last. Be encouraged when I say this. Be encouraged that the grass is not always greener on the next side. Matter of fact, you don't know the water bill that person or that business is paying as a result of the pulchritude and the presentation. You need to understand and remember within yourself that feelings come and go, but purpose is something that's embedded. And if you stick in it long enough, that seed will sprout. If you stick in it long enough, that plant that died will someday grow again. Be encouraged. Do not live in a fairy tale world that tells you that exactly what you've written out is exactly what you need. Matter of fact, what you wrote out might be the reason why you're still without. because you have written out what you want, but you've not tapped into the will of what you need. Be encouraged, man. J.K. Molly, be blessed.